Today is the big day, guys. I'm going to spend 100 days in a fantasy world. I've been left stranded in a new world with nothing but the clothes on my back and my own 2 hands and feet. My goals are to kill the Ender Dragon, the Wither, a tier 5 dragon, and all 4 mutant beasts. Can I survive the challenges that this new world throws at me, or will it chew me up and spit me out? This is 100 Days Fantasy Wonderland. On day 1, I spawned on the side of a massive mountain, and I noticed that there were a ton of resources lying around. So I gathered some wood and made some stone tools before going out and getting the iron, coal, and copper that was all over the mountain. I made some furnaces and a small cave base so that I can survive the night. I used the iron that I smelted to make full iron gear and a shield. Afterwards, I went out to explore for a bit. I found a large stone tower with some skeletons around it, so I ended up killing them. I noticed that it was getting dark, so I ran back to my base because I didn't want to get caught out at night. I didn't have any wool for a bed, so I decided I was going to spend the rest of the night playing around in the quest book. In the spellbook, I noticed a quest that gave me a free novice spellbook from the Heirs Novu mod pack and some really good food. I spent a good bit of this day exploring the mountain I was currently on. And at the top of the mountain, I found a ton of invisible mobs, and honestly, I ran away because they looked like skeletons and I didn't want any parts with them. I spent the rest of the day exploring alongside the beach, and I came across a dragon skeleton. I also found some gold and another dragon skeleton. I don't know why, but night seems to come extremely quickly in this mod pack, so I decided I was going to spend the rest of the night on my little tower of blocks. I spent the rest of the night killing mobs from a distance with my spellbook, and honestly, I made a very big mistake. I decided to come down and explore, and I regretted it almost immediately because I almost got blown up. I found this really cool biome with a ton of resources, so I decided I was going to spend the morning mining here. It had a ton of gold, nether quartz, and osmium. Honestly, I'm gonna have to remember this place so I can come back at a later date. Later that day, I made a boat, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, me and this boat spend a significant amount of time together. This boat is my best friend for most of these 90 days. Anyway, while I was on my boat, I found a half-built nether portal with some pretty good loot inside of it. I still don't have a bed, so I was forced to fight for my life for yet another night. I thought I finally found some wool so I can make a bed, but turns out it was being protected by a freaking kraken. How am I supposed to fight a kraken? But you know, I don't need sleep that much. So yeah, this just ended up being another night of man and boat versus the creatures of the night. At the very end of the night, I found a nice little tower with some enchants inside, but I couldn't use any of them yet. I began this beautiful day being assaulted by a skeleton. Thank God I finally found a bed. It was in this really cool hobbit hole. But there was one thing that I noticed while I was in this little area, was that this entire place is covered in these killer plants. I spent a good portion of the day killing these stupid plants, and I also killed some illagers over here. I decided that I wanted to bring all my stuff from my little mountain over to this new base. So I hopped in my handy dandy boat and I made my way back to the mountain. I literally almost got blown up again just trying to get my stuff. So I had to pull some quick evasive maneuvers.
Whoa! Oh! Crap, 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 crap. Oh! I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. Oh my god. I'm screwed. What did I do? Nah, it blew up. It didn't explode me. It blew up.
I grabbed my stuff and I sailed all the way back to the hobbit hole. I'm still trying to find some wool so I can make a sleeping bag, but I'm not really having any luck right now. This was another day of man and boat versus the world. I was trying to find a spot to build my base, and along the way I found a green woodland mansion. Now, I want you guys to remember this place. This place is going to be very important at a later date, so just remember this place for now. I got a few more enchanted books and a cool turtle helmet that lets me breathe underwater. At some point, some shady guy tried to steal from me, so I had to send him on his way. Also, I found another hobbit hole. I'm going to use this place as a temporary base for now. In the basement, they had some freaky thing going on, and I'm not a person to kink shame, so I just left them down there by themselves. I started this day getting a pretty cool shield. And once again, I hopped in my boat and I went back to get my stuff. I told you guys that me and this boat were going to be good friends. I ended this day finally finding some strings and I finally made my sleeping bag. I didn't really do much on this day, but I found some towers and some random loot. I did make some iron chests though. I finally freed the guy in the basement on this day. And I hopped back in my boat for some more exploration. At the end of the day, I ended up finding this massive tower. It was pretty cool. I put my parkour skills to the test to make out this tower. And at the top of the tower, I found a waystone and an artifact that lets me double jump. And this artifact is going to be pretty useful for quite some time, so get used to it. I also found this really cool Breath of the Wild type of glider. And I almost died immediately after using it. Later that day, I killed another guy who wanted to steal from me, and I found a village. Too bad it was also overran by those killer plants. Alright, so these next 16 or so days, I spent the entire time gathering resources and building my house. Nothing too crazy happened during this time, but I did end up dying twice. Now, the first death was completely my fault, and I did something very stupid.
Wow.
The second death was also stupid, but it was not my fault. Like, what am I supposed to do against these freaky bugs? Like, please tell me. Like, why are they so fast and why are they so persistent? To be honest, it's a good thing I'm not doing a hardcore playthrough yet because I'm just not that good at the game yet. But erase these two deaths out your mind. Never happened. We just never died because we're so good at the game. I'm pretty sure I spent the entirety of this day trying to gather resources to make a backpack. I needed leather and string, and I didn't have any of those things. So I just decided I was going to kill some spiders during the night for some string. I made my backpack and I was trying to upgrade it, but I got jumped by this super strong, shady guy. He had some like weird gravity power that kept pulling me back towards him, so I literally just ran away. I ran until he despawned and I made my way back to finally upgrade my backpack. I hopped back in my boat and I started to make my way back to that cool biome I found on day, I think 2, with all the cool resources. One thing you guys have to know about me, and I say it in all my videos, I hate mining, so if I don't have to do it, I won't do it. On my way back to that biome, I found a really cool shield and an underwater chest, but honestly I was so scared going to this chest because I thought something was going to kill me. I spent the rest of this day mining in that cool biome. After mining for some time, I got bored and I started adventuring again. That led me to this really cool frozen lake biome. I found another nether chest and inside of it, it had some great loot. And by great, I mean really great. I found a freaking totem of regeneration and I literally use this item for the rest of this playthrough. It ends up saving my butt so many times, and honestly, it's one of the best things you could find. I ended this day finding this weird battle tower fused with a giant like waystone tower. It was honestly a pain getting up there. I started this day by finding this magic tower, so I made my way over there. Now, I want you guys to listen to me right now. In this chest right here, I find the greatest item for the rest of this playthrough. This axe is what ends up carrying me through all the tough battles and all the hard times. It's kind of crazy how I got 2 really good items in back-to-back days, but you'll end up seeing why I love this axe so much. But just know, it's amazing. I found this pillager camp, so I decided I was going to text my new axe over there. It was going great until this happened. I freaking got too cocky, man. I got too cocky and I died. I told myself right here that I refuse to ever die again in this mod pack. For the rest of these 100 days, I made a vow that I would not die again. Anyway, I did a quest to get some XP to teleport back to my grave, and the quest gave me this really cool item. It gave me an item called a Flask of Fleetfoot. What the item did was it pretty much turned me into Barry Allen for like 60 seconds. I got my stuff back and I executed my swift revenge. At the end of the day, I found this chest containing an enchant called Projectile Protection 7. This is very good. I found a jungle fortress and I also found this freaking amazing floating dungeon. I mean, just look at this thing. You can't tell me this isn't one of the coolest things you ever seen. I can't wait to come back here and explore this place. I really need to find a new way of transportation. I'm sick of running everywhere. I put my axe to the test this day and it went pretty well. Now, I did something pretty impactful on this day as well. I decided to enchant my pants with Deflect 7 and Projectile Protection 7. Now, I don't even know how to tell you guys, without these two enchants, I don't know how I would have survived this mod pack. These two enchants are so insanely good because, I mean, like, they just pretty much make you immune to projectiles. I can still get hurt by the effects of the projectiles, but the actual damage from the projectile doesn't do anything to me anymore. I also put Life Mending 3 on the pants, and to be honest, this enchant freaking sucks. I say that because if you're not paying attention, this enchant will kill you. Didn't really do much this day. The only thing I did of significance was make a book so I can get a tome so I can get the other books. So I made a book so I can get a book so I can get other books. I finally went out to test my enchants and all I can say is freaking awesome. So yeah, with this enchant, I'm pretty much immune to all projectiles. Like I said, I can still get hit with effects and poisons, but the damage from the projectile is negated. I think the enchant, especially this high level, gives me like a 90 to 100% chance to negate the hit. And even if I do get hit, the enchant Projectile Protection 7 reduces the damage to pretty much nothing. After playing around with my enchants for a bit, I decided to go back out and explore some more. I ended up finding those stupid birds that I hate so much. Like, these birds are honestly the reason why I quit Mineshaft and Monsters, because they're just everywhere. But now they can't hurt me at all, so I think I got the last laugh. I spotted my first dragon on this day, and honestly, I'm not gonna risk dying from this stupid reptile, so I just went back to adventuring. I adventured for the next day or two, and at this point, I was really just looking for a waystone to teleport back home. I finally found a waystone so I can go back to my base. The thing I wanted to do was, I wanted to craft a disenchantment table so I can get some good enchants off the gear I didn't want to use. I spent a good part of the day disenchanting some gear and re-enchanting it on some better gear. I also took a trip back to that green woodland mansion I told you guys to remember, and I saw something that literally put fear in my soul. Now, can somebody explain to me why the hell is there a dragon inside of a woodland mansion? Now, I'm not a very good Minecraft player, but I know that this isn't something normal. Honestly, I should have noticed when I saw some scorched blocks, but I really just ignored it. But to say the least, I ran like hell. Back at base, I ended up fighting something I never thought I would fight, especially this early. This is a mutant skeleton. Now, if you don't know anything about the mutant beast mobs, there are 4 mutant beasts for the creeper, enderman, skeleton, and zombie. And each and every single one of them are monsters. They are all so very difficult to kill, and they do a lot of damage in their each special way. The mutant skeleton, for example, is pretty much Hawkeye. It has like a one-shot kill from like 100 blocks away. So if it sees you outside and you don't see it, there's a good chance it's just gonna destroy you. But I didn't have to worry about that today because I had the deflect enchant. And I also had a necklace that I got from a chest in a previous day, and I think it just strikes them with lightning every once in a while. It was a very good day. I found another nether chest with some trash loot that night, and I also found a piglin village to raid, and raid I did. I found some diamond and fought a really fast skeleton. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't know what happened the next day because when I went back to look at the footage, it was very choppy. But I pretty much just went adventuring during that time though. I fought a few dungeons and I climbed another waypoint tower. Somewhere along the line, I picked up a very handy dandy little notebook. Now, this notebook contained the spell Takeoff from the Airs Novu mod. This book here is a game changer for the entire playthrough. This book single-handedly is the most important item I found throughout this entirety of the 100 days. It lets me fly. I want to say fly. It's not really fly. It's really like slow gliding. And I don't really have that much mana for extended use, but it's way, way faster than walking or, sailing. I also decided to finally start mechanisms, so I made a heat generator and I planned out where I wanted to build my machines. The next couple of days, I didn't really do anything too important. I spent a good part of these days flying around just looking for loot and some cool structures. I found this really cool item called a blaze flask. It lets me levitate and it gave me no fall damage and fire resistance as long as the flask was kept full of fire. I also found another dragon, but this time I could fly away. I found another amazing floating dungeon. And I also got a treasure map, so I followed it to where the X was. And I finally decided that it's time to go back to base and put my stuff away. Today was the day that everything changed. I was on my big Itachi energy today. I wanted to test my limits today. I had already enchanted my gear and I was ready to see if I could deflect a dragon's breath attack. So I made my way to the woodland mansion. It was pretty much a cakewalk in this place at first. I was just killing all the mobs I found. And I also found out that I can put a Totem of Undying in a bauble slot, so I didn't even have to keep it in my offhand. I made sure to eat my epic Oreos that I got from a quest. I've been saving these because it gives you really, really good buffs. They are very hard to find though. I really have to set up resourceful bees and find the epic Oreo bee so I can have unlimited amount of these, but maybe in 200 days. Everything was going according to plan until this happened. The dragon freaking ambushed me and I was fine, but the fight was on. And I was right. The deflect enchant can negate dragon projectile. This is such an important day in our playthrough because now I no longer have to avoid dragons anymore. I finally bested the beast and I became a dragon slayer. Eat your heart out, Natsu.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I ran back to my base to get some bottles so I can get the blood, and I finished clearing out this woodland mansion. I decided to test myself against another dragon this time, but this time it was an ice dragon. It was a different type of element, but it was more or less the same outcome. I fought a few battle towers before failing to get the loot out of an ice temple.
No!
I have no idea why, but I suck so much at these TNT traps. Like, without fail, I'm gonna blow stuff up. I ended the night killing another ice dragon as well. I'm getting very, very proficient in dragon slaying, and I told you guys, I'm not gonna die anymore. I went back to base and I made some armor with the scales I got from my dragon fights. I then spent some time disenchanting my old gear and putting some enchants on the new one. I also put life mending on my chest and my axe, and all I'm gonna say is this is gonna bite me in the butt later. Just wait on it. On this day, I wanted to make a few infusers, so I went out to get some stone so I can make furnaces. In mechanisms, you need a bunch of infusers. You need one for redstone, one for diamond, one for obsidian, one for carbon, and I think there's one more, but I forgot what it was. I also want to make an enrichment chamber because it will let me double and later triple all my ores. I made my enrichment chamber and I also moved my setup around a bit because it wasn't really powering my other devices. My goal with mechanisms is to set up a digital miner because it gathers a ton of resources for you. I also want to set up refined storage so I can have one centralized storage unit for all my items. I finally started raiding that big giant floating dungeon I found from one of the previous days. The mobs inside of the dungeon weren't that strong, but at one point I started getting overwhelmed by all the mobs. It also didn't help that my armor and my axe were basically killing me with the mobs. I told y'all, I hate life mending, but it's the only thing I have right now. I also hate this stupid cat noise. The mobs at the top were freaking skeletons riding freaking phantoms. What in the hell is this? Anyway, I used my flight book to fly from chest to chest, and I also used the mind spell to break the spawners from a distance. It's kind of cheap, but sometimes you gotta work smarter, not harder. I found some armor with some really good enchants, and I also found the pickup upgrade for my backpack. After I cleared out this dungeon, I also found a dragon who was just begging me to kill it. This one though was really annoying because I kept knocking me into the ground and I kept riding it by accident. Literally after I killed it, I almost got killed by this freaking weird Enderman. It had some type of poison attack and I just barely made it into the air before I died. Why was this thing hitting harder than the dragon? Like, it made no sense. I also took off the freaking kitty trinket or whatever it was because the sound was driving me crazy, and I ended the night going back to base to put my stuff away. I put some mana boost and mana regen on my chest piece, so now I can use my fly spell more frequently. The power source that I was using for my mechanism stuff is honestly so trash, so I decided to make a windmill to see if it provided more power. It provided a ton more power, so I decided I'm gonna make a second one just in case. I spent the next few days doing some light adventuring, and I ended up making a very big mistake. I found another woodland mansion, but honestly, I really should have just turned around and left. I decided, what could go wrong, right? I can beat this place, so I went inside. Everything was going good until I realized that my armor was taking a lot more health than usual from life mending. And I'm gonna say it again for you guys, just in case you guys forgot. I hate this freaking enchant. When I saw my health being eaten like this, honestly, I should have just left, but I think I was starting to become arrogant. Like, come on, I've killed dragons before. There couldn't possibly be anything in here that can hurt me, right? Oh, how very wrong I was. It was this guy right here. This freaking guy right here. This abnormally strong Vindicator cut through my health like a hot knife through butter. It happened so freaking quickly, I couldn't even like react, but thank God I had my totem, so I should be safe, right? Well, apparently not, because it seems like life mending had other plans. Now, I know y'all remember when I said I wasn't gonna die in this mod pack ever again. Well, I lied through my teeth, but now I promise you guys I will never die again. I pinky swear. The next couple of days, I spent it inside this really fire dungeons. Get it? Fire? It's a pun. This dungeon was extremely deep and the loot inside was pretty freaking insane. I ended up finding a pickaxe with Fortune 5 and I used it to mine the magic gems all over the dungeon. The mobs in here were pretty strong and they were very plentiful, but my axe didn't really care about all that. I found this weird spawner thing in the middle of the dungeon, so being the curious cat that I am, I went to look at it. It summoned this weird guy named King Jeb the Sneaky, another sneaky boy. I didn't really like the way he was looking at me, so I had to end his life. Turns out he was a apotheotic boss. I don't really know what that means, but I killed him nonetheless. At the end of the dungeon, I found a ton of good loot, and I mean so much good loot. I was running out of bag space, so it was a good thing I actually cleared this place out. I made my way out of the dungeon right before the sun was coming out, and I needed to go back to put my stuff away. I made some more iron and gold chests so I would have more storage space, and I took mending off of the shield I got and put it on my chest piece because freaking screw life mending. I sure as hell wasn't gonna let this thing kill me again. I decided it was time to start working on the Heirs Novu mod pack, so I needed to find some wheat and make a farm so I can use it to generate source or mana. I ended the night making a source link, and I fought this weird superhero Enderman. The next 2 days, all I did was work on the Heirs Novu mod pack. I smelted some stone and made some more items, and I made an infinite water source and started working on the farm. The way the source links works in this mod is it uses like growing plants to gather mana, and you use that to power the other items in the mod. You can also use lava and a volcanic source link if you don't want to use a farm. I used some diamonds that I got in a dungeon to make enriched diamond, and I used this to infuse certain items in my infusers. You can choose not to enrich it, but it will cost a lot more resources than if you do enrich it. I also made an osmium compressor so I can make some refined obsidian. This is a very big step in mechanism because it lets you progress more with the mod. And I also made my favorite item today, the digital miner. Like I said, y'all know I hate mining, so this item is freaking fantastic for me personally. It makes it so much easier to do any other mod because you literally don't have to look for resources anymore. The way the miner works, it pretty much teleports the ores that you choose inside of it as long as it falls within a specific radius of the miner. So in this area around my base, it will mine around 11k items for me, and once it's finished, you can move it to a new area and start the process all over again. If you pair this digital miner with refined storage, then you can wirelessly mine and store items, but that's for another time. I wanted to set up refined storage to go alongside my digital miner, but I needed some glowstone dust to make a grid. Turns out I didn't have any glowstone dust at all, so you know what that means. We're going to the Nether. Yay. So I made my portal and I went in. Now in this playthrough, this is really the first time I'm really experiencing Minecraft for an extended amount of time. So although I've been to the Nether before, it was before all the updates and things like that. So I mined some goldstone and I got my dust, and I decided to do some light exploring. I found some piglins and I stole their stuff. It felt like this was enough, so I decided I was gonna go back home. Oh, I also found this really cool book that literally lets me throw mobs into space. It's freaking fantastic. Made my grid and I connected my miner to my storage. I also made a few more storage disks so I wouldn't run out of space in the refined storage. Now my storage can hold up to 24k items, and I can continue to upgrade it, so I grab all the things I have in the rest of my chest and I put it in the storage for now. I also upgraded my backpack to diamond level, and the space inside of it was huge. This is going to make adventuring a lot easier. I also upgraded my grid to a crafting grid, but I did it in the most complicated way possible. Don't really know why I did that though.
Oh wait, I'm stupid. I could have just took this grid and made a crafting grid, couldn't I? I could have. Wow, I'm dumb. Whatever.
I spent the rest of the day working on my farm, and I was trying to make more source, so I had to make mana bloom seeds because it generates more mana than regular plants. To make mana bloom seeds, you have to craft them in the arcane enchanter, and it takes a ton of mana gems. Because it's been so long since I last slept in a playthrough, I started getting attacked by phantoms, and this becomes a trend from now on since I needed to use literally all the time I had in these last couple of days. I wanted to check to see if I can get Nature's Men to work because this entire time I felt like it wasn't doing anything. I needed ore from the environment, but it wasn't enough to repair my totem, so I started using the Nature's Ore mod to see if I could figure it out. I needed to get leaves and grass and gold nuggets to make brilliant fibers, and then I needed to put them on tree leaves and let them spread. I wanted to make the environmental eye trinket so that I could see the ore in the areas. I also made one of my favorite items from Mechanisms called the Atomic Disassembler. This is a multi-tool that lets you vein mine and other cool things, and it also does a ton of damage. The best part of it is that it's unbreakable. All you need to do to use it again is just charge it in one of your chargers. The only downfall is I don't think you can enchant it. At least I haven't figured out how to enchant it. I continued to work on the Nature's Ores mod, but I had to set up a ritual circle and I didn't have the right sapling, so I had to wait until I got the right one. I also got jumped by some mobs, but I don't think they know who I am anymore. I'm not the same guy I was before. You might even say I'm built different now. I saw that you could get the sapling from a market, so I made one of those. I did the ritual and I got the eye, and I also killed this legendary skeleton. I later found out that the eye was pretty much useless since I had to put it in a slot, and that slot is exclusively for my Totem of Undying. I didn't really do much the next day. All I did was disenchant my axe because freak life mending. I later went into a catacombs to explore, but this place was kind of merged with a flame dungeon, so I decided I was going to explore that for a bit. I found some cool area with these really cool looking crystals, so I took them. And I blew something up again. I don't know why. I'm so bad at traps. Anyway, I left before finishing the dungeon because I wanted to do something else, and I ended up finding a dragon to end the night.
Yes, sir. Your projectiles don't affect me, man.
I fought another dragon, but this one built its nest in literally the worst location ever. I spent these next few days exploring the Nether, and honestly, I forgot why I started exploring the Nether. While exploring, I got caught by this freaky plant on the roof. It was so creepy. I found another fortress and explored it for a bit. I think I came in here for blaze rods or something. So I kept the spawner so I can come back and farm them at a later date. I don't really know when, but at some point I found this cool item called the Reflection Necklace. The necklace allows you to take hits and it reflects, I think, 50% of damage back to the user. I also found this really cool structure, but it was full of wither skeletons, and I also got jumped by some gas while trying to get the chest here. Later on, I found this really cool pyramid structure, and it had some insane loot inside of it. I mean, like, so insane, but I'm gonna just show y'all what I'm talking about. After looting that pyramid structure, I started looking for a way back home, but I was very, very lost. The way geography works in the Nether is so weird, and I was so very far away from my Nether portal. While trying to find my way back to the portal, I found another temple, but once again, I freaking blew it up because I suck at traps. I finally made it back home and I decided I was going to test out some new magic books. I enchanted a new weapon I got from the Nether and I tested it out a bit. It wasn't that great, but it was still pretty good. I finally got my glyph press to work for the Ares Novu mod, so I decided to make the flight spell. It was a nice addition to the takeoff spell that I had, and if I use both of them together, it'll be a lot better flying. I also created the Amplify glyph, which let me boost all my other spells. I think the best item I got from that pyramid structure in another was this necklace that gave me 5 extra health. I also found this random item that spawned me a llama, so now I have a llama. I decided it was time to upgrade some of my mechanism machines so they would work faster. And I ended this day killing 2 dragons, but one of them was really kicking my butt. He was doing so much damage that I had to run away from him and use evasive maneuvers, but at the end of the day, I still killed him. Over the next 2 days, I spent some time doing the Eidolon mod. At the end of the night, I ended up fighting a mutant zombie. This was the second mutant beast I fought, and he was way more annoying than the mutant skeleton, but he really couldn't do much to me anymore, but he was still very annoying. I still have to beat 2 other mutant beasts, but the problem is I can't find them, so until I can find them, they're unbeatable. I spent all of the next day just flying around looking at things, and on this day I decided that I wanted to fight the Wither. This is the first time I've ever fought the Wither, so here's how it went. It was really irritating because it kept flying and shooting bombs. I'm so glad I didn't do this anywhere next to my base. I really hope the Ender Dragon isn't this annoying. Once I got him to the ground, it was pretty easy to just finish him off. Now I want to fight the Ender Dragon, so now I need to go find a fortress. So I got my Eyes of Ender, but I realized I didn't have too many, so I decided I needed to get some blaze rods so I can make more. I spent the next day in the Nether farming blazes, and I also ended up finding this weird soul fortress that kept replacing blocks after I broke them. At this point, I couldn't tell if my game was just tripping or if the game was just messing with me. We are now in the final stretch. Are you guys excited? Boo! That's what I like to hear. I crafted more Eyes of Ender and I followed it around until it dropped to the ground, and it really didn't go far before it dropped. I found the fortress and I made my way to the portal. Here I was, about to fight the Ender Dragon for the first time, and I can't lie, I was really nervous. I didn't want to die here because I felt like that would be super embarrassing if I died fighting the Ender Dragon. But nonetheless, I jumped in. I watched some videos on how to fight the Ender Dragon, so I started breaking the crystals immediately. The magic book made it really simple to break all the crystals from a distance. I don't know how, but I ended up getting blinded and I literally almost died because I started flying off the map. Without the ability to fly, this would have been such a pain. Fighting the dragon was still a major pain in the butt though. It just wouldn't stop moving. And my magic either was too slow or didn't do that much damage. I really should have just crafted a good bow for this fight. I finally got it on the ground, so I thought I could finish it off just like I finished the Wither, but I was very wrong. I got jumped by a bunch of Endermen, and there was even a mutant Enderman, and this is, I think, the most powerful mutant beast. It had abilities that made it super annoying to deal with, and at a certain point, I'm pretty sure a second mutant Enderman joined in and started kicking my butt. After that, I decided I just wasn't gonna land anymore. At a certain point during the fight, I don't know how, but I got one-shotted. Like, I don't know what hit through 4 whole rows of health, but it's a good thing I had my totem to protect me. After a long drawn-out fight, I finally bested this foul beast. This was my first time beating the Ender Dragon, so I was kind of excited. So I took the egg and I left. I'm not gonna lie, at this point I didn't really know what to do because there wasn't enough time to do anything of real significance, so I just decided to explore for a bit more. I also upgraded my backpack to netherite, and the space didn't really improve, but it got more enhancement slots. I found some miner's dungeon and it had a ton of stuff, and I killed another dragon, but this one was also very dumb because it built its base on top of lava. You know what I've noticed? I haven't found a single fire dragon, only lightning and ice dragons. I found another cool dungeon to explore on this day, and there were a few monster boxes inside of them, but I beat them nonetheless. There was another monster box at the end of the dungeon, but it really wasn't much of a challenge for my axe. As I made my way out of the dungeon, I found a village. This is the first one in a long time. I think during this entirety of the 100 days, I've only seen 2 villages. On this day, I decided to go back to the nether to get some goldstone so I can make more storage space for my refined storage. I also found out that I could stand on lava thanks to the lava walker trinket. After I got my glowstone dust, I made my refined storage space upgrade, and I decided I wanted to do something special for completing the 100 days and for getting 100 subs on YouTube. At this point in time, phantoms were still trying to kill me because I refused to sleep. Alright guys, so we made it. It's been 100 days, and I just want to say that I missed the sea. I know y'all see it. I missed the sea. So in my defense, I just want to say it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I've been recording for over 5 hours. So I'm drained. So I know you guys you're gonna make fun of me. So comment in the comment section is like, hey Chuck, you can't spell, man. You missed the C. But yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. This was a challenge for me to record and edit, but I did it. And it was pretty fun. It was a challenge to myself because I wanted to see how far I can get into this type of series. And I wanted to thank you guys so much for subbing. And it's been really crazy that we're already at 100 subs. I didn't really think we were going to get here that fast because, like, I think either 2 months ago we were at 30 or 20 subs, and I don't really know how far I can go with this YouTube thing because it started all as just a hobby, and it's still pretty much a hobby right now. But nonetheless, I still want to thank you guys for your support, and if y'all keep supporting, I'll keep making content. I'll keep trying to make better videos every time, and I just really appreciate it. If you guys really like this 100-day content, then comment down below if you want me to complete 200 days or if you want me to do another 100 days on a different mod pack, and I'll see. I don't know if I want to do it straight out like I did on this one, or I want to do it like episodically, but I'm with the Chuck, guys, and it's been a pleasure. Like and subscribe if you guys like my content, and remember, this is just the beginning for us.